Yo, 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 and welcome to the United Hour. I am President Chad, and on the inside with me is the man Nicholas and the man Kev on there.
Well,
But I shouldn't say down there, up there in Barbados. How you gentlemen doing today?
Pretty
doing pretty
good.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just had
Nice,
some,
nice.
we had some rain here in Trinidad today. But
Well,
thankfully I work from home, so it didn't have to affect me that much.
Yeah,
Trinidad
we
has been
rain
a
on
rainy
Barbados.
place.
That's why I'm home.
Well, the whole Caribbean apparently has been very rainy. I haven't had a lot of rain where I am, but the whole place has been overcast and different parts of the country. It's been
Okay.
rainy, and our thoughts and prayers up there in Miami with Devin
Hmm.
and his family, and
Oh
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
people in Miami
Uh,
dealing with Ian right now. You know what I mean?
a lot of flooding, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard
yeah.
one of the sheriffs in an interview today said they have more than 100 deaths,
Yeah,
drownings and stuff
people
that's
always
happened. So
knew.
this,
We always
yeah.
knew Ian Rush was a
Wow.
pain.
So they
But
he said that they still counting and stuff and finding bodies and things like that. So I mean, it's pretty sad, that amount
yeah,
of
well,
loss of life. But
and that's why the United always here to take people's minds off of depressing stuff like that, to talk about stuff like Manchester United.
which is
Good.
not depressing anymore.
No, definitely not. Good afternoon to Zaire. How you doing, bro?
Afternoon, President. Can you hear me clearly?
Clearly like a bell.
So coming to you live and direct from Rituals Price Plaza. Hardworking teacher ain't reach home for the day yet. Had to go with my school team to a netball game after school.
I saw it as good. I saw it as good.
Yeah, but
Man, like
we only worth 4%, right?
a man like Kev would understand exactly what you're talking about. Always doing something with the kids.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, Manchester United has 9 games to play in 29 days. We are literally playing three we literally playing a game every 3 days for the entire month of October. And that is definitely something that we have to talk about, because to me that is one of the biggest tests Ten Hag has faced. And so far he's been doing pretty good. He's been doing pretty good, Liverpool, he did pretty good. Arsenal undefeated, he did pretty good. And now we have this challenge of City on the weekend and this hectic schedule, unbelievably hectic schedule in October, right? But before we get to that, let's start the show talking about the man, Cristiano Ronaldo. So I'm sure you all would have seen it, that there were calls in the Portuguese media and from some Portuguese fans that Ronaldo should be dropped from the national team. Now, this is something that I found very surprising, because if it is one thing I know about Portuguese people, is they love them some Cristiano Ronaldo. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the same kind of relationship that Messi has with Argentinians, where there are some Argentinians that love Messi and there are some Argentinians that hate Messi. If anybody who don't know, every time they put up a statue of Messi anywhere, it might last about a week, and then somebody comes and paints on it, defames it, which never happens to murals or statues of Maradona. Nobody does anything bad to anything with Maradona. But Messi, not the same kind of love, right? So there's a love-hate relationship with Messi and the Argentine public. But with Ronaldo, Ronaldo is revered in Portugal. So I was surprised when media outlets in Portugal was saying, hey, maybe we should drop Ronaldo for the World Cup. So my question to you all is, with that in mind, do you think the end is near for Ronaldo? Kevin, starts with you. You haven't been on the program for a little while.
If I think the end is near, um,
And when I say near, I don't mean end of the season, end of the year. Well, not the year, this year, end of the season or next year. I mean, Ronaldo said he wanted to play until the Euros, which is 2 years from now. You know,
mhm.
I ain't talking about near like that. I mean near like, really near. Like the World Cup near.
There's no telling. I think Ronaldo's at a point now where he has to evolve his game and change up his game. But before that, we have to take into consideration that this is still a grieving man. When Ronaldo's child passed down during the season, he did not take a mental or emotional break. He pushed through it. Season finished. That's a lot of time to reflect, be there with his wife, and grieve together. So it looks like a man that definitely has something weighing on him. And it also, he lack of preseason training. So that at this age, at 37, you miss vital conditioning like that, it can have an effect. So at the same time, it's hard to tell if it's near, taking those factors into consideration, but I think this is a point now Ronaldo has to find a way to evolve, to transition. Look at how Giggs went from playing on the wing to central midfield. Look at Zlatan, and Cavani. They manage their minutes. How they feature weekly. I for one don't believe a 37-year-old should be featuring every 3 games. Like every 3 days, like Ronaldo.
True.
Tries to push through. So it's hard to tell. Zlatan has shown that it is still possible to make it at that level. He's been doing it for the past few seasons. So he's the blueprint, and I think it's still possible for Ronaldo to once he can evolve. I still think it's still possible for him to keep pushing until whenever he's ready to call it quits. But he's not the same player like he was.
I totally agree. Good afternoon to Martin, Philip, Nigel, and Courtney in the comments. Remember, like, subscribe, share, and let us know your thoughts and the comments on the topics we're talking about. Zaire, do you know what was his name? Patterson, what's his first name? Jordan Patterson, or Peterson, sorry. You know who Jordan Peterson is?
Not off the top of my head.
Nicholas, you know who Jordan Peterson is?
What's here?
Well, once you're looking up,
Peterson is a cricketer.
No, he is not a
that's
cricketer.
Kevin
He's
Peterson.
a psychologist and considered a very
Kevin Peterson was a cricketer.
controversial psychologist by some, not by me, but interestingly enough, Jordan Peterson did an interview with Piers Morgan, and in the interview, Piers Morgan brought up
yes. Now I know who you're talking about.
Piers Morgan brought up the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo reached out to Jordan Peterson and asked him for a meeting, and he went and he met with him. And obviously, as a psychologist, he didn't divulge any gory details, but he said that Ronaldo going through some stuff. He didn't say what it was. That somebody gave him one of Jordan's books and sent him some YouTube clips from Jordan Peterson, and he checked it out and he found it was decent, and he reached out to him to talk about, according to Jordan, mainly how he wants to end his career, right? How he wants to end off his career, and I guess whatever other challenges that he would have had. For somebody like Ronaldo to reach out, clearly that tells me that you believe you need to talk to somebody who are a little more wise in certain aspects of life than you. Because Jordan also says, as far as business acumen, as far as setting up his future, that Ronaldo is elite. He has himself well positioned and well set for the end of his career. So I have to believe it's more the playing side of his career that he was, he had challenges with. So Zaire, what do you think? Do you think Ronaldo, the end is nearer than he would like it to be? Because he clearly wants to play until he is like 39.
As far as I see it, it is not a question of if the end is near. It is a question of, it is a statement rather that the end is here. And when I say the end is here, which end are we talking about? Is it the end of his playing career? Is it the end of his role as an elite number nine? Is it the end of what he has built his CR7 brand on? Because as our friend was rightly saying just now, Zlatan has shown how he can adapt, how he has changed his role, what he is doing with AC Milan. In the past, you have seen players like Ryan Giggs, to a lesser extent Paul Scholes, who have come back. Remember, Scholes retired and then came back out of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And you have seen how they have altered things. My thing with Cristiano right now is, can the Ronaldo ego allow him to do what he needs to do to extend his career, perhaps to Euro 2024? And why I say that, we were made to believe, all and sundry, that he wanted out of Manchester United this summer as badly as teachers want our salary, which is real bad. But if you want it out so badly, and many clubs, as we would have heard through the grapevine, told you that the main sticking point was your exorbitant weekly salary, why didn't you tell them you were going to take a pay cut? Is it that his ego couldn't allow him to do that? Is it that he still has to feel that he is CR7? He cannot bear yet to end the mystique of what CR7 is? Because if he can't do that, the end is here. He has to evolve. He has to change. He has to accept a different role. Because as much as I love him, the fact remains, if Portugal had somebody else playing at number 9 in that game against Spain, they would now be in the semi-finals of the Nations League and not Spain.
I wanna bring in before I go to Nicholas. I wanna bring in some of Carlton comments. Carlton is saying that Ronaldo needs to hang it up, mainly because Ronaldo cannot adapt. Kevin and Zaire both talk about Ronaldo needing to adapt his game. That is possible. I mean, and let's be real. If we go through the years, there are lots of players, not just Zlatan.
Pirlo.
There's another Italian that was a striker. He ended his career playing for Juventus. Anyway, can't remember his name right now, but he's one of the strikers I really liked. And he played until 39, 38, 40. But all of these guys understood the value of playing in critical games at critical times, resting. You know, these guys, as they got older, weren't trying to play every game. They weren't upset when they were on the bench. And they also made physical tweaks to their game. Now, yes, Ronaldo has tweaked from being that winger running up and down the wing to being more of a number 9, reserving his energy for a little burst. But we realize, at least through our watching the game as United supporters, that burst of speed is something he doesn't have. So it means he needs to tweak even more. Right? Because you may want to run and get the ball when your body telling you no. It have very little you can do about it. Right? When defenders start behind you and get the ball in front of you, that's a problem. So what are your thoughts, Nicholas?
It's the same sentiments that everybody shared so far. I think he is at a point in his career once again where he needs to adapt, because I don't think he's there physically. I want to mean physically. Like Zlatan is an in-your-face type of striker. Ronaldo isn't like that. He plays off the defender. You know, he waits for the ball to pass and then turns and goes with the ball. You know, but you see, like how Rooney at the end of his career at United, although it was, it wasn't such a good time for him. Rooney adapted. He went into the midfield and he played there, and then he moved on. I'm not sure if Ronaldo just doesn't want to be a midfielder, but if it is that he wants to play a little longer, he definitely cannot lead the line, because the person leading the line needs to have a lot of physical movements, like physical off the ball movements and stuff. Because you're gonna have men running, kicking you down. As soon as Ronaldo gets hit, we know he falls on the floor. He isn't the type of player to get up and start running. If you understand what I mean, he isn't there for me physically. So yeah, I think he has to take a back seat. There are many players in the Portuguese squad. I'm talking about his national squad that could, take over. But is it that the coach feels that he
Portugal,
could?
for the first time in a long time, is stacked.
Yeah, that's
Portugal
what.
has a very good team.
So
For the
I'm not
first
sure
time
if
in a long time, they have talent from back to front.
I'm not sure if it's because the coach feels that he needs to be a little more what's the word loyal to Ronaldo because of what he's done in the past. But any team that wants to succeed, they don't care about past accolades. They care about the future and what they need to do for that.
Yeah, the
Um,
focus on the now.
yeah, so I'm not sure Ronaldo is capable of playing how he
You know,
wants to play. Because there's a difference with playing how you want to play and playing how you can play.
we all talk about him tweaking his game, and Carlton is saying something here that I agree with. That he really doesn't see Ronaldo being able to tweak his game. He's like a fish out of water when he's out of that number 9 position,
Mm.
and he also saying he doesn't have the work rate to play in the midfield. When I look at Ronaldo's touches, everything Ronaldo does is for the purpose of positioning himself to score. When Ronaldo gets a ball by the key, by the center circle, he doesn't get the ball and turn around to see who making a run. His head does not turn at all. He looks at the very most to the side to see who he could pass it off to for him to make the run. Right? When he gets the ball at the top of the box, if there's not a shooting opportunity, he is looking to pass the ball again, not forward, to the side for him to make a run. So I don't see Ronaldo ending up in the midfield. Even if there was a willingness on him to change, that is not the change that I think he is capable of making. Ronaldo's short passing, sometimes he's so focused on what he wants to do. Sometimes when he passes off the ball, the man he passing the ball to, it doesn't even be a crisp pass. Not that I ain't saying Ronaldo incapable of a short
No, but
pass. I'm
also
just saying that, most times the man who getting the ball had to look for it,
yeah, but also what I'm saying is there are forwards who don't have pace and they play in a system where the team is built around that. The teams that
a lot
Ronaldo
of
play
sport
in,
people, Inzaghi,
yeah.
historically, a lot of guys.
But what I'm saying as well is the teams that he plays in, it's not built around him. So he cannot perform like how he would want to. So therefore you have this sort of issue. So that's why I say he cannot be the guy leading the line. They need to have somebody built or who can play the way the team is built.
I don't wanna take too much time talking about Ronaldo, guys. I want to switch, but I think we have highlighted a key factor that I haven't really heard addressed out there in social media, and I really want to get your take on it. And it's this: it don't make sense trying to build your team around Ronaldo. Last season we did that, and the result was Ronaldo having 20 something plus goals, and the team overall goal output dropping by almost 50%. Right? So we scored a whole lot less goals, even though Ronaldo got his. We know in Ten Hag, I don't think Ten Hag interested in doing that. I don't think we interested in seeing that, right? We're more interested in United scoring goals. We're not interested in who score. Goals need to score. So if it is Ronaldo is incapable of adjusting, because we're talking about him adjusting. But the truth is, it's not just him adjusting to the team. And the team right now is a Ten Hag team. High pressing, high intensity, heavy work rate, which is like the absolute worst team for somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo to be in right now. Right? Simple question. I want you guys to keep it short because I want to move on. Do you all think this could end well with Cristiano going through this phase of his career and Ten Hag and Manchester United looking to play high intensity, high pressing, in high work rate kind of football that we're playing right now. Zaire?
It's not going to end well. The only way it ends well for either party is if he goes to the World Cup, Portugal finds a way to play with him. He does well and he leads them deep into the World Cup, a minimum of quarterfinals to semi-finals. And then he finds a club that is still in the latter stages of the Champions League who is willing to take him in January. It ends well for him. Other than that, we are going to have a very disgruntled Ronaldo until his contract runs out in the summer.
Kev? Kev?
Yeah, I had to unmute it. I don't like to make definite statements, finite statements. So I'm gonna say it's very dependent on Ronaldo. We saw when he came on against, was it Brentford? That he had a good camp. It was Brentford or one of those teams in the beginning. He had a good half. So there's still something there that he can contribute to Ten Hag. Probably not from the start, but coming off the bench or in tactical or against where we're going to dominate possession, and him as a point man where he doesn't have to do much work. So it can still work out, but it's very much dependent on how the season progresses and the availability of the others around him too, because we don't need him featuring like how he featured last season.
Because you tell yourself if Martial is fit and Rashford. If everybody's fit, Ronaldo doesn't start. Clearly.
He shouldn't. Unless it's to rotate, or like I said, against teams that we're going to dominate possession, and he wouldn't have to do that much working.
All right, cool. Nicholas?
Yeah, I'll agree with Kevin and Zahir. Both of them made some good points, so there's not anything to say against what they said. Well, I mean, we've seen Ten Hag has dropped him. Well, not started him for some games. Once Martial and Rashford is fit, and yeah, I mean, Zahir talked about. I would say, I think the best possible scenario that can make him happy, Ronaldo. That is.
I myself, I'm hoping that. I am hoping Ronaldo scores like about 5-6 goals in the World Cup, and somebody comes in and say, hey, Ronaldo still has something to offer, and come in for him in January. I think that is the best way things could work out for everybody involved.
Even if it's a loan.
Yeah, even if it's a loan. You know, he go into somewhere where he could play his Champions League football, and that move is going to position United where we know we need to go in for a striker in January. We should be going in for a striker anyway, but that move is going to make that even more of a necessity, whether it's like a pro, whether it's a whoever, you know, that we go and handle our business.
Now then, Champions
guys,
League.
as the thumbnail says, you know, we have Manchester United from Sunday are going to be playing a game every 3 days. It is an unbelievable schedule. Let me just run through the schedule very quickly for anybody who may not know what the schedule is. Should have pulled it up already since I know we're going to be talking about this right here. So give me 2 seconds, guys. Carlton, don't worry, Carlton. We have an entire segment dealing with that planned in the show, an entire segment, and I'm really looking forward to these tactical geniuses I have sitting on with me here, especially Kevin Zaire, very interested in hearing how they think we should address Mr. Haaland, because we can't discuss Sunday without discussing that. So Sunday we play in Manchester City, right? Then Thursday we playing Ammonia, something else, not important. That is in the Europa League. Then we play in Everton on Sunday again. Thursday again, we play in the return leg to Omnia, whoever. That is home. And then we play in Newcastle following Sunday. Wednesday, we play in Spurs. There's 2 Premier League games back-to-back. 16th, we play in Newcastle. The 19th, we play in Spurs. And then on the Saturday, we play in Chelsea. The 27th, Sheriff back in the Europa. And then on the 30th, we play in West Ham. So in this run of fixtures, we have Manchester City, we have Spurs, we have Chelsea, and for anybody watching Premier League football, Newcastle is not one of the easiest teams to play against right now. Right? Newcastle are holding their own. Right? They gave both Liverpool,
And
which
City.
they were robbed, and City pressure. Right? So Newcastle is handling the business. Do you guys, firstly, do you all think that this is the hardest test so far for Ten Hag? We had a losing start, then he had Liverpool pass that test. Won some games, then we had Arsenal unbeaten in the league. We passed that test. Yes, we have City, which is probably one could say the biggest test in the Premier League for anybody. But when you look at the entirety of City, Spurs, Chelsea included in that 9 games, do you consider this the biggest test for Ten Hag?
Definitely.
Go ahead, Zaya. Go ahead.
Definitely, because 6 Premier League games, out of those 6 Premier League games, you can consider City, Chelsea, Tottenham 3 of the regular big 6. Despite how hard things are with Chelsea at the moment, right? You cannot ever write them off.
Yeah, Chelsea still
Right.
Chelsea. They still have the players.
Right. I
And
am
they
not
have a-
letting the fact that West Ham is at the bottom of the table or close to the bottom is not fooling me, because it's a team that traditionally gave us trouble in the last couple of years. We got away with some real sneaky wins. And we
fair.
always know that David Moyes have a hatred for us to poison us when he gets a chance.
Watch me, Zaya, just to cut across here a little bit. If we being real, the only easy games in that run
Everton.
is not just Everton, but the games we playing in Europa.
Europa.
Well, this is
Almost
what I was
every
coming to.
game in the Premier League is a hard game, except for Everton. Every other game is going to be a hard
What we are
game.
basically facing here is we are going to have to run whatever Ten Hag considers his best second 11 in those 3 Europa League games. And if it were me, I would tell the youths, go out there, run at the team, pressure them, try to be up 2-0, 3-0 by halftime, and then just shut it down. Do like Brazil did against Tunisia in the second half. Just shut it down and wind down the game. And if we can do that without having to bring any of the regular starters on, then they get their rest for the weekend games. Because when you look at City, you have to have a particular approach for City, and we'll get to the Haaland question just now. Your approach for Everton is going to be different. For Chelsea, it's going to be different. For Tottenham, it's going to be different, because each team is bringing a different dynamic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
apart
have
from
different styles of
having to have his best 11 on the field, they had to be willing to work with a different game plan almost every single game. And we still don't know who is going to be fit in what he considers to be his best 11. So you had to do it like this. You have to look at 6 Premier League games. The most I am willing to accept is dropping 3 points, which could possibly come this Sunday against City. But we'll get to the fearless predictions later on in the show, I'm sure.
Indeed,
Right?
indeed.
But
Nicholas,
we had to get 5 wins. We had to get 15 points out of that.
Nicholas Carlton is saying Ericsson should not be played in the Europa League. It has amazed me how much football Ericsson has played for United already. Right? To me, I don't know about anybody else. I am amazed about how much football Ericsson has played already. And I could only hope that it goes down and not up. So I agree with Carlton, hands down. I can't argue with that. But Nicholas, is this Ten Hag's toughest test to this point? And does how he navigates the next 30 days, 32 days, 29 days starting from Sunday, does how we navigate the next 29 days from Sunday, is that going to really determine the rest of the season for him?
To an extent, yes. If this period of games doesn't go our way, I wouldn't hold it against him, because you can only do so much with what you have in terms of like the players and preparing them for each game so close, because like Zahir said, each team is going to be different technically. well, I mean, you're not gonna change the entire philosophy. You know, he has the core way he wants them to play. But I mean, yeah, and then remember you have to mentally prepare for each game. So the test is not only for Ten Hag, it's for the players as well. Because you have to mentally prepare, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to prepare myself, my body, and then there's basically no days for rest. Because you still have to go there,
And people always have to
train.
remember too, once we play in away in the Europa League, it's travel. It's
Yeah.
not just traveling on the day or the day before. Sometimes you're traveling 2 days. So imagine you're playing Sunday and you are not playing on Tuesday. You know what I'm
And
saying? So
and
that is
it's not like
another
if
added element.
yeah, it's not like he can carry an entire second team. He still has to carry certain core players with him to these games. And then you think about that traveling time, whatever jet lag they may have. So all those are things you have to factor in. So it's not going to be on him alone, and I wouldn't judge him too harsh on it because it's what we have to work with. There's
Would
nothing
you
we
would
can
you
do
be
to
as
change it.
bold as Zaire and say that you expect at least 15 points?
Yeah, I
So
wouldn't.
you're
I wouldn't.
expecting us to either have
Yeah,
1 or 2 draws inside of that mix or only 1 loss when it comes to the Premier League
yeah.
team.
Because I mean, Chelsea. Remember, Chelsea has a new manager, so they may more than likely have the new manager bounce as you call it, right? Where you see they come out and they play totally different and with a different type of level and stuff. So
Everybody trying to prove themselves to make sure they
yeah,
get a starting spot.
so I do think we're gonna come away with a couple draws, um, but we still have a good enough side. I mean, if you factor in the two injuries that I heard with Martial and Rashford, that might be the only thing
What?
that might.
Carlton says he expects us to win all the EPL games. I like Carlton's confidence. I love it.
Yeah, my
Carlton,
biggest
Carlton, I
issue
want
is
some of what you
injuries.
drinking, brother.
Yeah, my only issue or concern is injuries because
And
if
that is a
certain
that is
players
a
pick up
real
injuries,
that is a real issue. Not we're gonna touch on our present injury concerns just now, and that is the next topic. But but what people don't factor is fatigue. When you're playing, the issue
yeah.
with playing all of those games in that short period of time is fatigue. That is the problem. And when
But
players are fatigued, they're
that's what I'm
more likely to
saying.
get injured.
They won't have enough days to recover between these games. So your chances of picking up injuries are very high.
Men are to live in that ice bath.
Yeah.
Kev, talk to me. You are a man into physical training. You into, you know what it is like. Not just to deal with physical recovery, but also to train others to recover physically. How challenging is this how challenging is this gonna be for Ten Hag? These 9 games in 29 days.
Very challenging because we are starting on the back foot already with 2 very important players Ten Hag wants to play, and 2 very important players that contributed heavily to that 4-game streak. We're starting with them absent. More than likely they'll be absent. So there isn't much to rotate from the forward positions. And as we know, the wide positions, they do the most running. So Sancho, Anthony, and Elanga are going to be run to the ground for the time being until Rashford and Martial can
And
get
the
back.
low as well, because we don't really trust Wan-Bissaka. At least with Malacia, you
And
could
the
throw
full
Shaw
back.
in. But
Yeah.
what we gonna do? The low as well.
Yep. So we already starting on the back foot. I saw Rashford posted a video last week with him doing some box jumps, and it felt kind of positive. So I'm expecting him to be back next week after the latest. But I'm expecting him to be back next week. That was a good sign with the movements that he was doing. But the availability is going to be very important for such a period like this. I mean, let's be frank. We all started the season. We were positive because he had all the players available, and then boom, look what happened. First 2 games, took us by surprise. So these 9 games in 28 days, 29 days.
29 days, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's going to be very challenging. Man. There's not much rotation. Then we have Maguire out absent also. So we know Varane, we're going to need him to rotate. Well, there's still Lindelof. But yeah, man, we spent all of this money in the summer and the squad is still thin.
True.
So,
Well, I mean, it shows how much work, how much work needed to be done with this squad. Let me just touch
like
on some
Nicholas,
comments.
let's say though, it's not something to hold against Ten Hag going through this period, because it's going to be very tough.
True. Immortal Joker is saying that, there's one time he has to say F the international break. And we have to remember, it's not just the international break. We had games rescheduled because of the Queen's death. So when other people played their Premier League games, we didn't.
Yeah.
So United almost hasn't played in 4 Premier League. We haven't played a Premier League match in almost a month. Right?
I would
It's
say
about a month.
it
We
felt
haven't
like
played in the Premier
it
League.
was end of the season.
Yeah, true. Mortal is also saying Varane Martinez combo works better. Right now, that's the best, to me, that's the best duo in the entire Premier League. That's the best duo in the entire Premier League. Since those guys have been on, they have been solid. And right now.
Fearless.
Actually, Chad, my biggest worry in this 9-game stretch is the centre back positions. That is my biggest worry right now, because we have to be so careful, not just of rotation, but Rafa Varane is who we have to worry about. I can't, apart from the rotation during the Europa games, Ten Hag has to find a way to not have Varane running 90 minutes in every Premier League game. He has to find a way where, with the last 30 minutes to go, the team is comfortable enough that he could bring on Victor and let Rafa sit down, probably hit the ice bath one time, wrap him up in cotton wool, bubble wrap, Amazon packaging, whatever it is you need to wrap him in. Because the break did us good in that the Harry problem has been answered for us. We don't have to worry about it. It's been taken off the board. But if Rafa goes down and then you have Victor, who you have left? Unless you go into SOS Marseille and tell them send back bye, there is nobody left. And I can't see Ten Hag throwing Scott McTominay in at CB like he does for Scotland. I can't see that happening.
Tuan CB got to get a sweat. From everything I'm hearing, Tuan CB there, training with the team, and he fit. So we'll see how it goes. Let me read through some other comments. Carlton is saying, remember my prediction that we will be top at the league around Christmas time. Yes, Carlton. We have you on the record as saying that. He's questioning Elanga really being able to do what is required in this team. And just to answer Courtney, I heard Scott had a little knock, and that is why he didn't play the second game for Scotland or came off early. But from my understanding,
I think he was suspended. That's why he didn't feature, but he also has a knock.
Yeah, but from my understanding, Scott is fine. We are going to get the details of all the injuries during the press conferences tomorrow, please God. Right? So when we do the preview for the City game on Saturday, that is when we're going to be talking about all of that.
But even if Scott plays on Sunday, he's not going to play in the next Premier League game, because I bet you anything he's getting a yellow card on Sunday.
He should. I will be very disappointed if Scott doesn't get a yellow card. And he needs to get the right yellow card too. We need to get it either on Kevin De Bruyne or Haaland. That is what I expect from Scott McTominay. Anything less, I'll be very disappointed. I'm very serious. I'm serious. I expect Scott McTominay to go out there and hit one of those two guys hard enough to get a yellow and not a red. That's my expectation. And I think all of us as United fans should have that expectation too. Why is it that players give their blood, sweat, and tears on international duty when we need them the most in the league?
Because they're professionals. They love the country.
Everybody loves playing for their country. Yes,
They
your
love the
club always
country.
pays you more than your country. When you see Brazilians and all of these guys, it don't matter who, Germans, none of these teams, countries, pays these guys as much as their clubs.
National
However,
pride, boy.
However, that national pride, boy, I can't vex with anybody.
That
who
national
goes
pride
on this.
apparently don't reach the Soca Warriors.
Representing a country is like one of the best things, yo. So
So you need to behave yourself. You need to stop it. So, gentlemen, let's talk about the game on Sunday. There are rumors out there, and I don't want to say rumors. There are reports out there that Martial and Rashford haven't trained for the week, and more likely than not, may totally miss the game or may not be fit to play. So, my question to you is to put on your tactical hat. If Rashford and Martial is not available, right? We hearing that Ronaldo also got a little knock. But to me, anytime Ronaldo gets a knock, when it comes most of the time, at his time with United is when he knows he's not going to start. So he just kind of take himself out of the conversation. But with Rashford and Martial having issues, what is this front line? Forget the rest of the team. What do you all suggest Ten Hag does with his front line? Let's start with you, Nicholas.
Front line. Wow. I'm really not sure, boy. I'm really not sure. I mean, we just talked about Ronaldo earlier on, but I think Ronaldo would have to start. You'd have to put Sancho on the left, Anthony on the right. Yeah, that would be my front line.
Sancho, Ronaldo, Anthony.
Yeah.
All right. And you, Kev.
Anthony Brazilian, not Ilanga.
No. Yeah, we know which Anthony you're talking about.
I mean, we have so much Anthony's now, you can't tell.
Yeah, Kev. No Martial, no Rashford. What do you suggest that Ten Hag does?
I'm maybe an unpopular opinion, but I'm going with Ilanga through the middle. Sancho,
Ilanga, and Anthony.
For the mere fact that when you see what Ilanga was able to capitalize on his chance against Atletico Madrid, so he can do it. No, do we rely on him for multiple games? Not necessarily. But this is a tactical switch. We're going to need that pace running at defenders for City. City leaks goals. Ronaldo is not going to be able to do the sprinting, diagonal runs.
And I think when it comes to forward players, after Rashford, Ilanga is definitely able to get across the pitch.
Yeah, but you see,
Exactly.
his end product is my issue.
You got to take a gamble with it because it's definitely going to give City defenders something to think about, regardless, because you know he's
You're going to
pacey.
be afraid of the ball over the top or the ball behind.
You know it's going to be pacey. This is like when Mourinho, when Van Gaal brought on Rashford. You play Rashford through the middle. We didn't expect him to be like that. We've seen it many times before when managers made tactical switches and it has paid off against a team that's going to obliterate us in possession.
True. Zaire, who's your front three?
Now, nobody else will probably agree with me, but Sancho on the left, Anthony on the right, Bruno as a false nine.
I figure he was going to say so.
Well, Carlton, any comments? I already agree with you because Carlton is saying,
Bruno as a false nine with Eriksen in the 10, right? You start, if Scott is fit enough to start, you start Scott and Casemiro, or if Scott isn't fit enough, you go with what I like to call Fredemiro, the Brazilian pivot. And if the Bruno as a false nine can net us a goal or two, then in the second half we bring Anthony Ilanga on for the ball over the top.
You see, I would like that lineup as I heard, but my issue is Bruno's end product. When you start him as a false nine, it's not there.
And that's why he went with Ilanga.
Yeah, but
Ilanga
and Bruno.
It's like pick your poison.
Yeah,
Poison.
I say it.
How you want to
And-
die?
And then you see the issue is if we have to do that when it's time to sub guys off, what we gonna do?
Well, the reality is, if there is really no Martial and Rashford, we're gonna have a challenge regardless of who we starting on. The bench real thin.
But think about it. Who's going to be on the bench?
No, I think they would start Zidane. Well, not start. Sorry, have him in the
Zidane Iqbal.
on the bench.
He'll
Yeah.
have to be on the bench. He will have to be on the bench. My thing with Bruno as the false nine is, I have confidence that Christian Eriksen will find him and find him repeatedly. Right? I feel almost certain that if Christian gives him 5 chances, he'll put away 1. Right? And all we really need is for him to put away 1 and put the pressure on City. I don't want to talk about the Haaland plan yet because I have a plan for that and we'll get to that just now. But start him as the false nine. City will expect us. I honestly think Pep is going to expect us to start with Elanga up front for the ball over the top to challenge Stones and Diaz. I think that's their starting back two.
Stones
Right now.
probably Laporte and Diaz.
Laporte and Diaz, neither of whom are very pacey centre backs, but both of whom Bruno can beat one-on-one.
Well,
I saw Varane. I saw the Manchester United page posted Varane shooting the ball, so you never know. He could be the striker.
But honestly, all right. I don't know if you still want to touch on the front line.
What
if
you were
you
saying,
move in.
Chad? Go ahead, Chad.
Well, I'd seeing Courtney saying Anthony center forward, Sancho right, and Elanga left. As the
You
first
lost me with
person,
what?
that's the first person that I heard suggest Brazilian Anthony playing as a center forward in United. I didn't see it, but I heard he did it once or twice for
I wouldn't try it against City. I'd try it later on down the road.
Probably against Everton or West Ham or something.
Against Everton or West Ham. Not
Yeah.
City.
Yeah, so I don't know, that comment just kind of took me back. I was trying to envision it in my mind, trying to see how it
like,
works.
like you were lost.
Yeah, I was
That's
trying to
just-
see, because
like you went
let's
the
be real,
system
we in a crisis, No Martial, no Rashford, and underperforming Cristiano Ronaldo, and not just an underperforming Cristiano Ronaldo. The teams that do well against Manchester City are teams that could hit them with pace, the ball over the top or the ball through ball. Even if Ronaldo was doing well, he doesn't have the pace. So this is not a game for Ronaldo. So it doesn't even matter if Ronaldo was doing well or not. The reality is no Martial, no Rashford, and Ronaldo, that this game doesn't suit him. This is a problem. This is a real
To
problem.
be honest though, Chad, what I was thinking was like a 3 at the back against City and a 3-5 in the middle and 2 men up front. The 2 up front is what I was trying to figure out. It would have been Sancho and Antonio, Sancho, Bruno, Sancho, Elanga, one of them.
I think the
Because-
chemistry in the back is fine. The concern is what you put in front of them. Even if you have Scott dropping back and
No, well, we have
turning that back
Casemiro
that
now.
way,
so-
but the chemistry at the back, I don't want to bring in how we turning that train to the back. Varane, Martinez, and what you're bringing in Maguire or Lindelof. No, that leader back four. Right, how it is. Against City, you don't need confusion in the back. And them fellas seem to have a good relationship so far. So gentlemen, let's move on, continuing to stick around on the derby. And the question is simply this: how do you stop Erling Haaland? Zaire, I heard you said that you have a plan for Haaland. So we
Do
go
it more Roy
across.
Keane do it further.
If only we had somebody who could do that and not get a straight red. But I'm not sure either Fred.
Take the red and go.
Well, then again, maybe you could tell Scott take the red since he's gonna get a yellow and get suspended for the game anyhow.
Take the red and go. It's okay.
My plan for him, I will take you back to a Champions League game we played against AC Milan, when Sir Alex Ferguson deployed the Park Ji-sung strategy against Andrea Pirlo. where Park was tasked to shadow Pirlo, harry him, pester him, be literally on him. The minute he had the ball, follow him anywhere he went. We need somebody to do that with Haaland when he is outside the box. When he gets into the box, the minute he makes a run into the box, you tell the butcher, hey, chop, that's yours. Right? If it's a corner or a free kick, Varane has to man mark him because you need the height. In fact, put Varane and Scott on him if it's a corner or a free kick into the box. But we need to find, and it might sound weird, but I think if Scott isn't fully fit and you're not willing to put Casemiro on Haaland, then it's got to be Fred. It will have to be Fred who sticks to him, follows him like glue anywhere he goes, and just tries to get to the ball before he does. I don't care if you get it and kick it out. Just get to the ball before he does. And at the end of the day, just say hallelujah. He's not going up against Harry.
For sure. I think we actually have that hallelujah here, you know. Kev, I hear what Zaire is saying when man marking Haaland. It makes a lot of sense. But the scary thing about Haaland is Haaland has scored something like 9 goals in 6 matches.
10 games.
Right?
And don't forget the goal he scored out of nothing.
No, just now. That's exactly it. Because if you look at the Premier League, he has not scored. Every game he has netted. Right? And he doesn't have a lot of touches. You know, Haaland is not like an Aguero.
He actually didn't score in the Bournemouth game. That's the only game he missed out on.
Okay. Or he's not like a Harry Kane that drops into the midfield, gets some touches, might play a man in. Sometimes when you you look at the stats at the end of the game and you see Haaland with 2 goals and the man touched the ball like 5 times in 90 minutes. You know what I mean? He is just more or less a finisher. He has come to City and he is just a finisher. He don't need to be in the build-up play. He don't need to, if he touch the ball outside the box at all, is a one touch. He don't take the ball and look to travel with it. He gets it, he just kick it to somebody quick, and he looking to make that run. So I understand totally Zaire's position, and I understand totally the idea of having somebody on him to harry him. But when you look at the stats, when you look at his performances, how is stop that way?
You stop him by stopping the ball. So you gotta, and it's so hard because you don't want the ball to get to him. I was watching again with Haaland, and his first touch was the goal. His third touch was another goal. Third or fifth touch was another goal. So it's like you have to stop the ball from getting to him to stop Haaland. And we're going up against a team that in the past 5 seasons under Pep, or last 4 seasons, has been consistently one of the teams that creates the most chances in Europe. So how do you stop that? It's impossible, because if it's not De Bruyne, it's Silva. If it's not Silva, it's Cancelo. If it's not Cancelo, it's Grealish or Foden. So the guys have the work cut out. I don't think we can stop him. I heard people say, I see popular opinions that Martinez did it against him at Dortmund. Yeah, but Dortmund, he had to drop deep and he was picking up the ball from deep and he had to run at the defense. At City, this man stands on the penalty spot. He doesn't have to move. His heat mapping for the season, in around the penalty area, he's a fox in the box. Reminds me a lot of Chicharito or Van Nistelrooy even. These guys just found the end of the ball every time. So it's possible to stop Haaland, to be honest. And I have another unpopular opinion. I wish Harry Maguire was match fit, because for the physical battle, Harry Maguire probably would have given him a good test for the physical battle and aerial battle. Everything else, skeptical about that. But,
Boy, let me tell you something. Yeah? If the world was ending and the only way to save my life was to put my trust in Harry Maguire, heaven take me now.
listen,
Right?
but
I
you
not
can't,
put my trust in Harry.
physicality. Maguire has won a lot of physical battles since he's been at United. Is
Right.
under is you can't knock it. He's won a lot of
You
physical battles.
see, the
But
wingers, whoever we play on the wing, they have to be willing to put in a shift to track. Well, it's going to be De Bruyne on one side, and most likely probably Bernardo Silva on the other side.
Honestly, as you talk about the wingers, I would say that we also have two performing wing backs currently with Malacia and Dalot. Dalot has had a very good international break, and Malacia as well. You know, Dalot scored, you know, and I think the both of them would be up for it with the rest of our backline.
So here's a quick question:
Charlie muted.
Go ahead, Zaya.
If the plan works to perfection, and we manage to starve him of service, in other words, the crosses are not coming in, and we manage to keep him outside the box, do you think he will hurt us from outside the box if we force him to shoot from outside the box?
Haaland?
keep him outside the box.
Yes.
We're gonna be inside our box. We can't keep him out.
We had to find a way, because if you get him in the box and you have Martinez and Varane doubling up on him in the box, right? Then he's going to be forced to shoot from outside.
The only way
I will back the here 9 times out of 10 to stop anything shot from outside.
The only way I see Haaland shooting from outside is if he's frustrated.
Yeah, but
And that's what we had to do. We had to frustrate him.
okay, but we're talking about Haaland, right? I know we're talking about Haaland, but they have so many other players that were scoring when Haaland
That
wasn't
shoot
there.
outside the box, correct?
Yeah, when Haaland wasn't even there, they still win the
Cancelo,
league and whatnot. So remember, Haaland was just the cherry on
Kevin
the
De
top.
Bruyne.
It's
So I wanna set this up for you. I wanna set this up for you, Nicholas.
Mm.
Zaire says, lock down Haaland, even when he do have the ball, prevent him from getting the ball. Kevin says, deal with the cross, right? Try to prevent the ball getting to him. If we prevent the ball getting to him, even though they have wizards like Bernardo and De Bruyne who just make passes and crosses to me out of absolutely nothing. Sometimes you're watching the game and you see them men kick the ball, they're like, who they kick that ball to, until they see a Foden or Haaland come out of the nowhere and like goal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so you have option one, prevent him from getting the ball. You have option two, prevent the ball from getting to him. How would you stop Haaland, Nicholas? Talk to me.
You stifle the service. That City's games are always won in the midfield. And that's what you have to do. You have to stifle that midfield. Make sure you run over them, because City is not accustomed to not having the ball. We know that. If for some reason we cause some sort of shift in this game where we have not majority of the possession, I know that, but we go at them and we rattle them, that is the only way I can see us
Like
really.
what Crystal Palace did when they were up, I think it was 3-1 or something.
because
They ended up
it's
losing
not-
the game.
It's not
But
that
also-
they invulnerable to being scored on, because
Crystal
Stones,
Palace and
I
Newcastle.
don't trust their back line. It's still shaky in my opinion. Right? Their
So-
midfield. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Their midfield is what changes the game for them. Always.
So your strategy is attack. Best way to defend City is rattle them, attack them, get a goal on them. Because let's be real, we've seen it. Wolves have done it for periods of the game. They still lost. Newcastle did it.
Last game of the season, we saw it when they nearly lost that game and nearly lost the Prem. It's
Right.
De Bruyne them pull a masterclass out and win that game for them.
Newcastle has done it this season. Still lost. And who was the other team that did it? Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace had them against the rope. Playing exactly what Nicholas just said there was what all those three teams did. They took the fight to City, they ran at them, and it seemed to rattle them for a while, but eventually they clawed it back they got they you know they
So,
can
so
reconvene.
I'm going to use the second worst curse word in the Manchester fan dictionary after Maguire. Is it time for McFred?
It all depends. It all depends. I think that's definitely an option. Okay, gentlemen. So we have had three. Let me tell you all something. You all have a treat on this program today. You have heard three distinct ways that we could approach dealing with Haaland, and I am going to add the fourth. And my fourth is a combination of Zaire and Keith. To me, the way you stop Haaland is preventing him from getting the ball, but not so much from preventing the pass by fouling him before he gets the ball. Most referees don't call off the ball fouls. If the ball is all the way on the wing or all the way in the back, and Bernardo or Foden on the other side, or Kevin De Bruyne is looking to pass that ball, and he hit Haaland. You know, Carlton mentioned in the comments, Haaland is squall that happens because he seems to be open. The reason why he does have all that space is because of the runs Haaland does make. The man does make exquisite runs.
And he's
when
so
he
big, you know, like
runs,
6'5". I'm making these runs.
yeah, when he run past the defense, I remember there was a goal where he passed the ball off. I think it was to Phil Foden. He just passed the ball to Foden and he ran. When he passed the ball to Foden, if you look at the back line, you would see that is perfect defending. It had a guy running out on Foden to close him down. Two defenders was on either side of Haaland, and he had a man on the next side. So it was perfect. But Haaland's run was so quick for somebody with that height. His movement in short spurts is unbelievable. His run was so quick that by the time Foden squared the ball in, he was just there in the penalty in the 6-yard box by himself. Nobody else was there, and he just tapped in the ball. And he may say, "Oh, the defenders lapsed." It's not that they lapsed. By the time they see the play, it was too late. He was gone. So my thing is,
it was another game too. Like he ran with the defensive line, and he stopped while they kept running. It's hard to mark that man. Hard to mark him.
So my thing is, in that particular play that I was using, right? When he passed off the ball, if I was one of the defenders, I go and I hit him there. I'm not waiting to see if Foden passing back the ball. As he passes off the ball and there's an opportunity for him to run and the ball is away from him, so the referee is following the ball, I am hitting him. I'm not talking about a cleanup swipe, something obvious, whether it is a mashing his tugs, whether, you know, something to throw him off the run. The way to stop Haaland is preventing him from even finishing the run. Because to me, once he finished the run, game over. It had nothing to do with physicality. If he could beat him in the air, no. Forget that.
So you want us to hit him a Diego Simeone or Javier Mascherano from their Hades then?
Yes. Yeah, watch me. The way to deal with Haaland is the dark arts, which is why I don't have a problem with Scott. You give Scott, as you said, and Martinez the responsibility of dealing with Haaland. Outside the box, Scott, jam him. The minute he passed off that ball or the opportunity, look, Martinez had to hit him high and early. Not in the box. You don't want to give him no easy penalties. High and early, hit him. Forget about height. You don't need height because he ain't reaching the ball to head it. If he reached the ball to head it, you had to say, well, all right, we lost. You had to take the
Haaland. You had to remember too, Haaland is a big dude.
No, he is physical.
When
I say hit him, I don't mean kill him, no.
No, I'm not talking about. But Haaland is the type of player he up for the fight. He's not gonna take a hit and that's what I say. He don't.
That's why.
It had to be continuous. Watch me. It had to be
stay on the floor. He just get up and run after you get hit. You know.
You had to do it for 90 minutes. If you do it for 80 minutes, you're still lost. 10 minutes is enough time for Haaland to get a hat trick. You have to do it for for 90 minutes. What are you talking about? It's 90 minutes you had to do it.
I can tell you why Lake Keen go in and coach them.
I wanna touch on this comment from Hot Skull Diamond. He said he must also put a hit on KDB, and for sure, and I totally agree with that one. I mentioned that earlier. I expect Scott to get a yellow, one either on Haaland, and if not on Haaland, on KDB. That is where the yellow need to come. I don't want Scott getting a yellow on anybody else.
But in my opinion, though, I think this game is a good game for Casemiro to shine in. I think this is what we would have spent money on him for. He has the quality where he's been in these kind of high pressure games to really do the job.
What? Carlton? Should we light candles? Carlton, tell me, Carlton, let me know, brother. If your dreams is be accurate, we will light some candles, Carlton. Tell me.
All right, first of all, Haaland is not that type of man.
He is not, but
He's
nobody
green,
in the
though.
Premier League has
man
done
green.
to him what I have just said. And anybody, when they get frustrated, because Haaland will score a goal and walk off the pitch vex. The team win and he just walk off the pitch vex. The man
Listen.
score a trick and he still vex when he get taken off.
Listen, tell Roy Keane mess with the man head before the game. All Roy had to do is pass the man on the field before the game while he warming up and say, tell your father I say hello. Right? Mess with the man head a little bit.
I don't know. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you what United channel did, right?
Just now, let's take up and remember what I was going to say, Nicholas. The fact that we even having this discussion is a testament to how great Haaland is. The fact that we even taking the time to have an entire segment just on how do you stop Haaland, that is a testament to his greatness. So when we reach to that point, sometimes you just have to do what he needs. And there's an American saying, strangely enough, is an American saying. I don't hear it said anywhere else in the world. And they say if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Right? And you had to try how best we could, as I said, the dark arts, keep it on the edge of legality to deal with Haaland, because he's just not normal. The man is a machine. Go ahead, Nicholas.
Yeah, so United admin today posted a clip with the same derby now, United against City, and just before Haaland's father made a tackle on Bex, right, and caused him to get a free kick outside the box, a little way out, and Bex scored a worldie into the thing, and I was like, wow, what should they play in mind games already? Because you see the big Haaland name on the back of the shirt. And that was the game, I think, where Haaland father get taken out as well. So, yeah, I think it really has some mind games going on.
I don't want to see Haaland hurt. I don't want to see Haaland hurt. And as much as I'm saying hit him, I don't hit him. I wouldn't
wish injury to that extent on a player.
Correct.
But you could get bat.
Yeah,
up to this day and age, every week I play football, I just knock men in the foot.
No, let me be real. There are some players, and not Manchester United. Scott McTominay is not the only one. There are some players. There's two players on City. There is who is the CDM for City right now?
Rodri
and Cancelo are two players for City. If you watch them good, if they don't hit somebody, them fellas don't feel they play football. Them just run out there and get stupid here. Look, that's early. No reason, just run out and hit some. And there are players like that. They just need physical contact to get into the game. Some men just need to make a run, collect the ball, do a nice trick or a nice flick. Some men need physicality. Different players, Roy Keane, we all know there are certain players that have that aggression, and fortunately for us, we have two players like that too, in Scott and Martinez.
Don't forget Casemiro. Casemiro is a man who just bust them tackles too on people.
Right? Men who just need to hit somebody on, else they don't feel like they're playing football. We just need to direct that energy in the right place. Hot Skull Diamond, you see the sticker on the bottom? As my number, as the email for the channel. Reach out to me, man. We could definitely do that collabo, man. It's not a problem. So
at the end of the day, I just feel no matter how we hit him, no matter who hits him, it's sounding harsh, but I want us to draw blood because that's the only time I go believe the man human. Because at this point, I go believe he's human.
He's really no the man is really play like a machine. Boy. Serious. He is that good. He
Who's
is
that?
that good.
What, Haaland still?
No, well, we're going to shift on to on the record. Straightforward question. Give me your prediction. Give me your score for the derby. And when we have Old Talk on Sunday at 3, we're going to be playing Black this clip. So whether you're right, whether you're wrong, the whole world is going to be reminded of what you said, which is why it's on the record. So who wants to go first?
United
I
winning
don't-
1-0.
My
1-0.
prediction, United 1-0. My heart saying 2-1 to United, but in my head, I feel that all our best laid plans might go awry and it might end up 3-1 to City. We might score first, and we might hold them down to the end, and then somebody like a Gundogan coming off the bench to poison us down in the end when they're tired from executing the anti-Haaland plan. So whilst my heart wants to say 2-1 United with a worldie from Fred, I feel my mind really telling me 3-1 City.
Now by 1-0 for me.
Martin Phillips says 3-1 City. Please, people in the comments, send in your comments. You on the record too. What is your prediction for this game? Martin Phillips says 3-1 City. What is your prediction for the game? Kev, talk to me, brother, on the record.
Thought they're gonna skip me, man. I was hoping. No, I'm just kidding. 2-1 to City. The gap was
2-1 to
too
City.
Yeah, the gap was 2 way last season. I think we closed it, but I don't think we've closed it enough, especially going into the game, possibly without Rashford and Martial. Significant losses. I would be more confident for a draw, but not confident for a draw. So 2-1
I don't know Hot Skull like he peeping my brain. Because Hot Skull in the comments says 2-2, and that is my score. I am expecting goals. I just can't see us keeping. I could see Haaland not scoring. I made a prediction for this game, and I'm going to make all my predictions for this game right now. Haaland not to score. But even if Haaland don't score, I still can't see us keeping a clean sheet against City. So my prediction is 2-2. Carlton is saying 4-2 to United. And like Hot Skull, I myself have Haaland in my fantasy team, and I am not captaining him. I am not captaining Haaland against Manchester United. Let me
Chad,
next when he scores.
Well, they need to call the fire services and tell them work with a safety net by Carlton because that man need to get down from there. That man runs on real height all night.
What's man?
That man up there, boy.
This is on the record, you know. If Carlton is right, I hope you're coming on Sunday to say Carlton, I humbly apologize, you know. Humbly
Definitely.
You can't hide it. It's on the record. For anybody who's interested, who's in Trinidad and Tobago and looking to take in the game with other United supporters, we're going to be at 63. The United Hour is going to be at 63 Lounge on the Avenue. They are opening early just for us to facilitate that game, right? So get yourself down there. I'll be there. The rest of the team will be down there. We'll be also doing some interviews and, you know, doing the necessaries, doing some content to put up. So 63 Lounge on the Avenue, 9 a.m. on Sunday. All right, guys, we have gone over time, but I mean, I'm sure you don't feel like an hour pass yet. I'm sure you all feel like you all could do an next hour. Yeah? As when the conversation's so good. So, Top Shutter and Boo Boo Man. For anybody who doesn't know what the Top Shutter and Boo Boo Man is, segment is, the Top Shutter is that person, football team, player, sports person that is just having an unbelievable week. You know, they have the Midas touch. Everything they do, everything they touch just seems to be gold. And the Boo Boo Man is that person who is just having the complete opposite. You know, the kind of come on man, just having a horrible week. They walk outside, bird poop on the head, just having a horrible week. So that is what this segment is all about. Who wants to go first?
Let me go first. I've never
All
done
right.
one.
Zaya, I see you put up your hand, but Kev hasn't been
Now
here
let
for
them
a
go,
long
let
time.
them go, let them go.
So
As
we
a
let
good
Kev.
teacher, when a student say they want to go first, go first.
Very seldom I'm gonna go first. Let me see. Top shot of the week is Ericsson winning the United's player this the month. Um, Kudos to him. He definitely deserved it. The Bobo for the week. Ah, Again, exhausted talking about this guy, man. Maguire. You come out and you give that interview. Come out and you
Sometimes
give
it
that
just feel
interview.
sometimes it just feel unfair. It just feel unfair like you're
It's
picking on him to call him.
feel bad for him for the abuse he's been getting. But your performances, you gotta perform to get the abuse off your back. Ronaldo used to get booed by Real Madrid crowd. You gotta perform. But Maguire came out, he had that interview, and then the following game, you got fought for 2 goals. Come on, man. Shut up and they say shut up and play football. This is one of those times that I would say shut up and play football. The other times that people say, I wouldn't agree. But this time, just let it work, do the talking.
All right, definitely. That is two solid picks. Go ahead, Zaire.
Well, my top shot of the week is chosen specifically to annoy President Chad. The Brazil football team, specifically Rafinha, because listen, we're purring like one of the most well-oiled machines right now. If we take that form into the World Cup, President Chad, you'll have to borrow a Brazil jersey. And Mabubu man for the week, listen, it's just too easy to pick Southgate, Maguire, and the England team. So I will just change it up a little bit and say my Bubu man for the week is we, the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, after that budget on Monday.
Stop it, Zaire. Stop it. Nicholas, save us. Save us from the
My
political slant that Zaire is going along.
well, oh no boy, if I could use this date, yeah, I think I can, man. 24th. The 24th was when? Was Saturday? So yeah, I could use it. Diego Dallo. That's my top shutter. Man had 2 goals in his game. Like I said, he performed very well for his team despite the loss that they had. So yeah, that's my top shutter. And the boo boo, I don't know why I had to give it to Southgate. And the reason being is I think actually no, I could retract that and give it to LVG. Reason being, LVG, remember when he didn't want this guy to come to United and said, "Oh, if you come to United, your chances of going into the national team gonna be slim." And now he's calling up Malacia. Why? Because of his performance at United. I would give LVG that boo because he made himself look foolish.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
I will start with the Boo Boo Man first. Being somebody that leans more European, so my main team really is Germany, and then after teams like Holland and Italy and well Italy not there, and England. Depending on who England play, I actually back England sometimes. So being somebody that supports England a little bit, I have to give the Boo Boo Man to Southgate. I just don't have a choice. I have to do it. You understand what I'm saying? That you have England has too much attacking talent for this man to be playing defensive football. I cannot understand why he does it. And you're not winning. If you're doing it and you're winning, you have England and you're trying to beat men 1-0. Right? You have Tammy Abraham, you have Harry Kane, you have many ain't even take Sancho, Rashford, you have Foden, you
Who
have
and Sancho?
you have Sterling, so
Sorry,
much
Chad.
talent.
Chad, but my thing with that is you had Sancho who's been performing for United, right? And you didn't call him up, and a man who your big news, oh Harry is a quality player, so we call him up. We need him. So you didn't need Sancho's quality, and Sancho is a man who could have opened up defenses for you, sending good balls for Kane. So
I happy you didn't
I
call up
agree.
Sancho, because I am confident as long as Sancho performs, he will make the World Cup team.
Yeah.
Any of our players was able to get extra rest, I was glad. Right? So, Southgate for me is my boo-boo man. Totally agree with that
football.
here.
Oh
Hot
gosh.
skull.
Man say haram football. Oh jeez.
and shock it. I might shock Zaire a little bit here, but my top shutter is the Brazil national team. Right now, I have been saying this World Cup is going to be a very open World Cup because a lot of the big teams don't seem to be in form. Germany is not clicking on all cylinders. A lot of the big teams, a lot of the South American teams, I know a lot of people just like to big up Argentina every time they win any little stupid game, but Argentina to me is not really clicking either. No European team is really clicking, but Brazil, within the last 6 to 3 months, have become the team that is in form heading into the World Cup.
Yeah.
And I have to give the Brazil national team the top shutter this week because that team is looking very, very good. They have a lot of depth. They playing, nice Brazilian football, attractive football to watch. And I think they are definitely the team. By the time the World Cup comes around, it wouldn't surprise me if they are not the favorites.
Chad, can I clip that and put it up in the WhatsApp group?
Sure. I am an honest football commentator, right? I'm not biased. I don't need to like you to say something good. And I don't dislike Brazil, understand me. I just don't really support them internationally. But right now they're playing the best football that I see. When it comes to international football, the Brazil national team is playing the best football.
Yeah,
I am so glad I didn't know Chad in the 2014 World Cup, but I never hear the NRS 7-1.
Watch me. I was in a sports bar, and I was one of the few. Probably had about 5 or 6 German supporters in the bar. And I'm not lying to tell you, after a while, you just had to get quiet, because the bar packed. So you had hundreds of people in the bar. Only had like about a dozen of us supporting Germany. I meant that I get depressed and thing. You just stop celebrating, you know what I mean? I stopped celebrating.
I didn't.
I stopped celebrating.
I didn't.
But Nicholas, now you're wicked.
I didn't.
Yeah.
It was me and one other guy. Were the only 2 persons back in Germany, and I always tell people you never count Germany team down. I mean, you could have seen the final what happened, right? But I mean,
Nicholas was probably running and sliding and doing the Harry Maguire cup or something.
No. I didn't do that.
I
was really saying, bring my next one.
Even though I'm glad my team win, I felt it for Brazil because they were home. You see, if it was somewhere else, but to get 7 home, and you know how Brazilians love and passionate about football, that was hard. I feel it.
I always remember the look on the old guy who was holding the trophy, boy. Always.
That was real pain. I felt the hurt. Seriously, I felt the hurt. But you know what I mean? Germany won and I was happy. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure having all of you on the channel. For everybody who was part of the program in the comments, thank you all very much. Remember, like, subscribe, you know what I mean? Share the channel. Let's grow the community. Sunday, we in 63 Lounge. We at 63 Lounge on the Avenue. Remember, Red Devils, we don't die. We multiply. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, people.